Hey there, friends and foes. Good morning, multiverse. If you are watching this live, you're actually watching it recorded on Sunday morning, not Saturday morning. I recorded this on Wednesday night. So it's kind of a Wednesday night bite, Sunday morning kind of hybrid. We're going to be talking about new comics. Yum. We're going to be showing off some new loot and doing a Will It cereal just for you this Sunday morning. And of course, I am sporting my Scoob-tacular pajamas this morning, but we're going to get to all of that right after this.
Saturday morning, it's fun for all. Cartoons and cereal, let's have a ball. Comic books, kaiju, pro wrestling too. The fun is waiting for you. Back of the cereal box.
All right, friends and foes. Yes, this is recorded ahead of time. I recorded this, well, right now it's Wednesday night. So if you're watching this on Sunday, I recorded it on Wednesday because we didn't have an episode yesterday on Saturday. Is your mind spinning yet? So as we were normally live on Saturday, I was in Indianapolis doing a corporate magic gig. So I decided to record something early to share with you on Sunday, today, instead of yesterday. So tonight, anyway, this is Back of the Cereal Box, a pop culture podcast that celebrates the fun of the Saturdays of our youth while navigating adulthood today. I am your host, the prophet of pop culture. You can call me Johnny Beyond if you dare. And Saturday mornings for me, because Avengers comic books, Star Wars movies, and Saturday morning cartoons made me who I am. But Saturday mornings was all about sitting down with big bowls of cereal, watching cartoons, in our pajamas, reading comic books, watching kaiju movies, pro wrestling. That's why it's all in the theme song. And we didn't have iPhones or tablets at the breakfast table on Saturday mornings. We were reading the back of the cereal box. That was our newspaper. That was our world. And they would put games on the back, comics. Sometimes you had to cut out records, stories, mazes. It was a plethora of pop culture fun on the back of the cereal box when I was a kid. And that's what this show is all about. So this morning, this evening, coming to you tomorrow, not today, but we've already done that. I'm not going to go back there. This morning, I am flying solo because I recorded this on a Wednesday night, just on a whim. And we're going to talk about some cool new stuff, but we have to thank the people who make this possible. Our Patreon supporters, our Patreon super friends, as it were, our cereal box super friends. And you too can have your name in lights and become one of these esteemed group of people at patreon.com/cerealboxpodcast. And we also need to acknowledge our sponsor, Entertainment Earth, for all of your action figure and collectible needs. And if you haven't seen, we've been posting some specials in our Facebook group, the Back of the Cereal Box Saturday Morning Rec Room. So you can click the link in this episode or click the link in one of those posts to get some cool stuff. The holiday season is upon us, and my birthday is upon us. I'm just saying. And also brought to you by Tales of the Decoverse, Volume 3, Rise of the Impossibilists, published by 7th Star Press, and written by a name that looks familiar. Oh yeah, that's me. Anyway, check that out at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, wherever you get books. So, what are we going to do first? I think, on a Saturday morning, we would normally be asking what's in the bowl and sitting down with a big bowl of cereal. I've got my bowl. I've got a spoon. I've even got the milk, but I don't have cereal. So that means there's only one question to ask. Will it cereal? And on Will It cereal, we take something that is not traditionally cereal, we put it in the bowl with milk and see if it will cereal, if it works. And I know the answer to this one already before I've even tried it. These are soft baked mini cinnamon toast crunch Pillsbury cookies. I've never had these. I've never tried them in a bowl with milk, but I know exactly how this is going to go. So, actually, you know what? We need to get a picture of that for the cover art. So, bear with me just a minute while I do that. So, here we go. Ta-da! All right. So, Will It cereal, soft baked Pillsbury cookies, cinnamon toast crunch. You guys know the answer to this. Ooh. So we're going to pour the mini cookies into the bowl. And mini cookies, these are pretty big, actually. As a cookie by themselves, these are pretty good. The cinnamon toast crunch flavor is not super pronounced. It's kind of subtle. I have a feeling that's going to change once we pour some milk in. So I've got this morning 2% from Purity. They are not a sponsor, but you could be Purity. So I'm going to pour the milk in, and we're going to see if these soft baked mini cookies from Pillsbury will cereal. You guys know the answer. Before I even try this, you know what the answer is. So here we go. So this is interesting. I've mentioned this on the show before, but the soft baked cookies, they don't absorb the milk the way that crispy cookies do. So another bite before I make a decision. This is good. But it would be better if the cookies weren't soft bake and they were absorbing the milk a little bit better. If they, were more porous. It's good though. As a cereal, I'm going to give this 3 out of 5 bowls of cereal. 3 out of 5. It's good. It kind of works, but not to the level that I expected. As a cookie, these are phenomenal. I just like crispy cookies. Like, Chips Ahoy or homemade cookies that are really crispy. Because the crispier they are, the more porous they are. Like Oreos. I love Oreos. Love Chips Ahoy. These soft bake, they're okay. They don't absorb the milk enough. 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5. Will it cereal? Not really. I'm a little bit disappointed by that, to be honest with you. They're still delicious, though. It tastes delicious. It tastes great. It's just not living up to what I think cereal should. So, 3 out of 5. There you go. So, let's talk Saturday morning 102. And normally, in this segment, we would go back in time to a series from long ago in the past. We're going to go back in time just 10 years. I just discovered this series like a week ago on Disney Plus. So it's 10 years old, but it's brand new to me. And the reason I never saw it is because it was previously on Disney XD. And I never had Disney XD. So it hit Disney Plus last week. I saw it for the first time, fell in love. It's 10 years old, so it is pretty contemporary. It's not retro per se, but it definitely fits the definition of celebrating the Saturdays of our youth while navigating adulthood today. I am talking about Star versus the forces of evil. And Star is a character. She is a princess from another dimension who inherits this super powerful magic wand, the rainbow wand. And it's very powerful. And in her own dimension, she ends up destroying things and, just making a mess of everything. And so her parents, the king and queen, send her to our universe. And if you hear the dogs in the back, they don't know when to be quiet. And they're just going to come into the office. Anyway, Star Butterfly gets sent to our dimension so that she can learn how to use the wand without damaging her own home dimension. So it's okay if she destroys the Earth, but not her own home. And along the way, she makes a bunch of friends, in particular, Diego, who is the son of the parents that she's living with as a quote-unquote foreign exchange student. And a lot of great, wacky characters. They're all a lot of fun. And this show is just super funny. It's really well written. I absolutely adore it. It's the kind of animated show that would have been made, before I was a kid, like in the 50s, because the writing is that good. The animation is super clean. It's crisp. It's smooth. Superior animation, superior writing, and really, really likable characters. And some storylines, some dilemmas that have real consequences. All throughout the series, there is an evil catbird demon trying to capture the wand from Star Butterfly and keep sending his demonic minions after her. That's the forces of evil that she has to fight against. So, great series. If you're looking for something new to watch, that is definitely one to check out. Can you dig that? I knew that you could. Now it's time for new comics. Yum! I haven't done this segment in a while, but I felt like it was important because you may have seen me post. I've been a comic book fan my entire life, since I was 5 years old. And Avengers comic books, Star Wars movies, Saturday morning cartoons made me who I am today. I love the Avengers. I still do. And for most of my life, I was a big two kind of guy. Marvel, DC, I was a Marvel shill. And while I still love the Avengers, I have found myself migrating away from the big two and really falling in love with indie publishers. And so I just thought I'd share with you the comics that I think are super phenomenal. Phenomenal. These are the books that I can't wait to read every month. And none of them are Marvel or DC. These are all indie publishers. So, before we go through these, let's acknowledge a couple more of our sponsors. Song Swap Showdown. Check this out.
Hey everybody, Chris Vaglou here from Song Swap Showdown. We are your weekly musical throwdown podcast. Each and every week, my co-host Amanda Sharp and I each swap 3 songs with each other that we may or may not have heard before, and then we rate those songs at a scale of 1 to 5 records, with 1 being a hard pass of a song and 5 being heavenly music to our ears. The songs are chosen by spinning the wheel of themes at the end of every single episode. But today, I am here to let you know that your weekend is not complete unless you started off by watching Back of the Cereal Box with Johnny Beyond and the rest of the crew. Love you, Johnny. Keep up the amazing work and rock it.
Thank you, Chris. And also check out our charity sponsors, Comic Books for Kids.
Comic Books for Kids provides comic books to kids in hospitals and cancer centers across the U.S. It's a place where we can all work together to make sure every child has a comic book. 100% of all proceeds go towards the kids. It's about making a difference, and while they're in the hospital, allowing them to fly like a superhero, battle dragons, or rescue teddy bears. We are in every state in the country and now support over 160 hospitals. Every month, we add more.
Visit cb4k.org.
All right, check them out. All right, new comics. Yum. These are the comics that I can't wait to read every month. None of them are the big two. They are all indie publishers, starting with Flash Gordon from Mad Cave Studios. And this is written by Jeremy Adams, art by Will Conrad and Lee Lofgridge, and letters by Taylor Esposito. One of the problems that Flash Gordon has traditionally is that they tell the same story over and over. It's Flash versus Ming. And this series gets past that. This series picks up after the fall of Mongo. Ming has been defeated. Flash Gordon finds himself mysteriously in prison, and he has to escape. And so it's a new status quo for Flash Gordon. Now, I'm going to spoil it because you're like, well, how can Flash be Flash without Ming? Well, there's another antagonist in the storyline, and that is Queen D'Elle Arden, who has married King. She's Empress Arden. She married Ming the Merciless, and then when Ming was ousted, she took over. And in this final panel, she's like, I command you to find Flash Gordon and bring him back here, dead or alive. And in the free comic book day preview of this series, D'Elle Arden, actually, this is the cover. D'Elle Arden is seen in the same uniform as Flash. She was as much a swashbuckling hero as he was. So we have no idea when we pick this up how they got to this point. It's kind of a mystery at this point. And we're in 2 issues, but really, really great. And Ming does pop back up. He's not dead, but I'm not going to spoil it for you. This one, oh my gosh, this is so much fun. So much fun. From Massive Comics, I Lie Popeye. This is classic Popeye, but with a little bit more contemporary anime art style. Everything you love about Popeye is in this story, including the classic villains, the Sea Hag. Bluto is Popeye's frenemy. You got Jeep. And, just everything you love, everything I love about Popeye is in this story, but updated for contemporary audiences. Bluto is helping Popeye fight the bad guy. You got, the classic characters of Wimpy and Olive Oil, and just phenomenal book. That's issue 1. I can't wait for more. The best comic I've read this year, 2024, is Johnny Quest #1. Johnny Quest #1 is written by Joe Casey. That Joe Casey, classic writer. They're my dogs piping in. Either they agree or they disagree. I don't know what you're barking at. Go. Get. Anyway, Johnny Quest #1, written by Joe Casey, art by Sebastian Perez. This feels like the classic Johnny Quest animated show, and it picks up after the Free Comic Book Day preview, where Johnny, Haji, Race, Dr. Quest, and Bandit end up in a future alternate timeline. They travel forward in time. Now, maybe the best part about this issue, maybe the most fun, is seeing Race Bannon flying off with a jetpack and a machine gun. I mean, an M16. How cool is that? This is the single best comic I've read in 2024. And it's by Dynamite, so an indie publisher. None of these have been big two. Also from Dynamite. Dynamite's cranking out some great retro work. Space Ghost. This is issue number 4. And Space Ghost is written by David Pepose, and the art is Jonathan Lau. And this is a contemporary, updated retelling of the Space Ghost mythos. It stays true to the source material, but it's really Jan and Jace origin story. And you know what? This has been one of those books that I can't wait to read every month. It leaves you on a cliffhanger, like Zorak is about to kill Jan and Jace. We got to wait till issue number 5 next month to see what happens. Again, by Dynamite. Amazing work from Dynamite. Speaking of Dynamite, they are producing also the Thundercats. Do you see a theme here? This is Saturday Morning Come Alive. And this is basically a story that expands on the ideas from the animated series. Basically, it retells the origin of the Thundercats crashing on Third Earth, and it's all about how Lion-O has to come to terms with becoming a grown-up while he was in stasis. If you haven't seen the Saturday morning series, spoiler alert, and it's all about how he deals with these changed status quo relationships with the other Thundercats. And basically it takes place in between those original Saturday morning episodes written by Declan Shalvey and artist Drew Moss. Amazing. And you'll notice something here on most of these books. The artist is doing both the pencils and inks. So a lot of these books, we don't have separate pencilers or inkers. IDW, The Rocketeer Breaks Free. This is issue number 1 by Stephen Mooney and Staz Johnson. All I'm going to say is that Stephen Mooney is the heir apparent to the Rocketeer legacy. This is his 3rd miniseries, and everyone gets better and better. And he definitely has captured the tone, the energy, the nostalgia of Dave Stevens. And it just doesn't get any better than The Rocketeer Breaks Free. So if you love the movie, if you love Dave Stevens' original comics, IDW, Rocketeer Breaks Free. All right. So this is published by, I want to say Oni Press. Let me double check. Yes, Oni Press, the Nacelle Universe, Biker Mice from Mars. All of the fun you remember from the Saturday morning cartoon. It's written by Melissa Flores, art by Francis Portela. And again, he is the inker and penciler. And it is great Biker Mice from Mars action. Now, this is part of a larger universe, the Nacelle Universe, or nacelle. I don't know how you pronounce it, but it includes RoboForce, Sectars, Biker Mice from Mars, and another one. I can't remember what, but they're all interconnected and ton of fun by Oni Press. I'm digging it. All right, only a couple more. So from Mad Cave Studios, they're the ones that do the Flash Gordon and Defenders of the Earth and Dick Tracy. Gotcha Man. This is issue number 2, known to many of you as Battle of the Planets, written by Cullen Bunn, one of my all-time favorite writers. Art by Chris Batista. And this is a faithful adaptation of the original Ninja Science Team Japanese anime. You may remember it being repackaged with English dubs as Battle of the Planets. This is a very faithful, loyal adaptation of the original source material, but it's all the fun. It's all the fun you remember. And previous attempts at doing Battle of the Planets or Gotchamen have been mediocre at best. This is super good. This is superior. So if you've read some of the previous stuff that was published by, Image or IDW and didn't quite resonate with you, give the new series from Mad Cave a chance. I think you're going to love it. Now, one of the things that Mad Cave is doing that I absolutely love, and they're doing this with Flash Gordon, they're doing it with Gotchaman, they're doing it with another one of my favorites right now, Dick Tracy, and they're doing it with Defenders of the Earth. These are 5-issue limited series. And on their website, you can buy a subscription and get all 5 issues in a digital format. And then at the end of the run, you're going to get a hard copy trade paperback collection of the entire series, $25 for the whole thing. What a deal. I've been getting the floppies, but you know what? Just to get those trade paperbacks, I'm going to go ahead and do that deal and support what they're doing. But Mad Cave is also doing Dick Tracy. This is not a silly Dick Tracy. This is like the Warren Beatty Dick Tracy movie on steroids. It's gritty. It's action-packed. It's got real consequences. Several of the characters, don't make it out of the first couple of issues. This is fantastic. Now, it's co-written by Alex Segura and Michael Morecki. Again, one artist, Geraldo Borges. And Geraldo Borges' art is gorgeous. It really does fit a crime noir series. Everyone that I've talked to that has read this agrees that it is phenomenal. You need to check it out if you haven't. I mentioned Defenders of the Earth. This is an adaptation of the classic cartoon series. Now, it's not connected to the Flash Gordon series, although it's published by Mad Cave. Completely different creative team. Dan DiDio is the writer on this. Yes, that Dan DiDio, or Dan DiDio. I always want to put an extra D in there. Dan DiDio. He was a popular writer for DC Comics. Artist on this is Jim Calafori. And this, again, if you were a fan of the Defenders of the Earth cartoon series or the Marvel Comics adaptation, you're going to love this. This picks up in the throes of the final battle on Earth. And just like the Flash Gordon series, the Defenders of the Earth series had a big problem with Ming the Merciless. They never got past Ming the Merciless. And this first episode takes us well past it. First couple of pages, and then it picks up some 4 or 5 years later, and Earth has become a utopian, kind of a utopian society under the leadership of Flash Gordon, and Mandrake has gone back to becoming a stage magician. Lothar is going back to Africa. The Phantom is recuperating from an injury that he suffered in the final battle against Ming. Ming's son has taken over as Emperor of Mongo. Everything seems really copacetic. But Flash is not acting like himself. And then, while the Phantom is recovering at Mandrake's mansion in America, there's somebody else who has taken up the Phantom mantle in Bengala. And not just one Phantom, but two. And this teases the next issue, which will focus on the Phantom. Great book. Great book. All right, just two more and we'll be done. From Boom, Uncanny Valley, one of the most original books I've read in ages, by Tony Fleeks and Dave Watcher. Dave Watcher. It's my first day reading, ladies and gentlemen. Writer is Tony Fleeks and artist is Dave Watcher. And this is basically about a kid named Oliver who finds out that his grandfather is a cartoon character. Pecos Bill. Is it Pecos Bill? Pecos Pete. Pecos Pete. And there's Pecos Pete, kind of a Yosemite Sam analog. And Pecos Pete's daughter, Oliver's mother, is part toon. And so she has toon powers that she has passed on to her son Oliver. And there's something about Oliver that makes the villain a character called the First, kind of like a cross between Maleficent and Mumra. The First wants Oliver. And Pecos Pete has unwittingly delivered Oliver into the hands of the First. Dun, dun, dun. This is issue number 4. I think it's just a 5-issue limited series. Next issue, there's a lot to resolve. It's been a lot of fun. All right. I said 2 more. I lied. Godzilla versus Power Rangers. This is issue number 4 in a 5-issue series by Cullen Bunn. Again, I love Cullen Bunn. He is my favorite writer. Art by Baldemar Ruiz. And super stylized art. Basically, you got the classic Godzilla. You got Jaguar. They're going to bring in King Caesar. And the Power Rangers getting amped up with Kaiju powers to face Rita Repulsa and her dark Power Rangers. And so, you've got Power Rangers that have the Mothra Zord, the Anguirus Zord, the King Caesar Zord, the Jaguar Zord. And if I'm not mistaken, this teases next issue a Godzilla power-up Power Ranger. Dun, dun, dun. Godzilla with the power of the Power Rangers. IDW. Image Comics. Skybound. Energon Universe. This is Scarlet. Now, The Energon universe includes Transformers, G.I. Joe, Duke, Void Rivals, and rumor is Mask is coming, all in a shared universe. And this particular one is about how Scarlet basically becomes Scarlet. She infiltrates the clan of Storm Shadow, and Jinx is her best friend and roommate, and she's got to rescue her from the clutches of the clan. And we're going to find out, I guess, how Storm Shadow becomes an agent of Cobra. One last one from Dynamite for all of you who love 90s Cartoon Network cartoons, the Powerpuff Girls. There's really not anything to say about this other than it is classic Powerpuff Girls. It's written by, I believe, Kelly Thompson. Yep, Kelly Thompson. And the art is by Paulina Canascio. And it is the Powerpuff Girls in graphic form. Super fun. So all of those celebrate the fun of the Saturdays of our youth, and none of them are Marvel or DC. Those are the books that I'm reading every month. I'm spending a lot of money on nostalgia, folks. So that's why we need your help. Because we can show off these things and do reviews like this when you contribute to patreon.com/serialboxpodcast. It's running down below. $1, $2 a month is all we ask. But if you contribute at $10, you get copies of these preview books. If you contribute at the $20 level, the VIP level, you get to host your own show, like Dennis Pozzi, who has a new show coming out Tuesday. We're going to be talking about Darkwing Duck. So, a lot of cool stuff there. A lot of cool stuff. And if you like what we do, make sure you tell 200-300 of your closest friends and family to come share the fun. And subscribe on whatever platform you're watching or listening. Give us a good review, 5-star. And until the next time, love you, mean it. We'll catch you on the back of the cereal box.
It's like Coca-Cola, Levi Strauss,